welcome back to another episode of Lary Talk. I'm your host, the ever so procrastinating Henry King. I know it's been forever since I've done. It's been like 2 months since I've done a last podcast episode. And what can I say? I got busy, man. I was out enjoying life when summer was here. Harvest, I was doing my harvesting. And then, I was out trying to find a job, stuff like that. So I've been a little busy. And then I went to upgrade my computer a couple weeks ago. And because it was like an 8 gig RAM, and I was trying to get a 16, and found out that my computer didn't have 2 slots for it. I actually had to buy another one to replace that. And I've never done that before, so that took some time. So here we are. Hopefully the computer works a little better and my editing will go by quicker. I had to do that, man, because editing for this would take like 8 hours to render. If you don't know what that means like I would film this and then I would edit it. And then when you're done with that, it has to render, fix everything that you've done and all that, make sure it's seamless and goes good. And puts it out to a digital format for you so you can put it out to where you got to go. And it would take like 8 hours on a 1 hour podcast episode. So like the episode where I did Dr. Powell and we did a 2 hour interview, that literally took 18 hours, I think it was, for it to render. Now it will take like an hour, if that. So hopefully that's fixed and that saves me a headache. Cause that, man, I would edit everything at night. And then like I would let it render overnight while I went to bed, wake up in the morning, and maybe about 2 hours after I was awake, it'd be done. It was sucked. Definitely not a way you want to go when you're doing this kind of stuff, man. You want it to be quick so you can get out there. And that's another reason why I haven't put up like a bunch of different stuff. But I'm sure none of you miss me, really, judging by how many subscribers I got. I'm way more cooler on TikTok, apparently, which is all good. But either way, thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. That'll really help me out, especially with the subscription. I can't do anything monetizing until I get like 1,000 followers. So, and I'm not that popular. So, and if you're listening to us on the podcast, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Give a like if you can there too. And feel free to share this with everybody you know. So if you followed me on Facebook and Lary World, about a month ago, I had a post up about how I was going to do an episode about cannabis during chemo and radiation and just the general use, the myths and the facts about it. I'm still going to do that episode. I just got to figure out a way to do things where I can, not be censored by YouTube and everything else. As far as the podcast, the audio, where it goes, I ain't got no worries. I can say whatever. Nobody's going to say anything. But YouTube, they got a little bug up their butt about, talking about cannabis and stuff like that. It's kind of stupid. So we're going to postpone that for a couple of weeks, but it's definitely going to happen. That's for sure. In the meantime, now, this episode's just going to be about me going back to work. And before I start off the episode, I just want to say I'm not a doctor. I'm not anything in the medical field. All I am is just a laryngectomy, and I'm giving you information from my experiences and from what I've read and stuff like that. So, again, if you have like serious medical issues and stuff like that, you don't want to be asking me anything. Call your doctor. All right. Now that we got that out of the way. So, yeah, let's talk about working as a laryngectomy. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that have gone right back to work after having a laryngectomy. A couple of them were woodworkers. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive in itself, right? There's different jobs different Larrys have. I'm not going to go through and name everything I know because we'd be here forever. Other Larrys decide not to go back to work. Others can't go back to work. If you're anything like me, I've had a job since I was like 12 years old of some kind of work, whether it be on the books, off the books, whatever, something to keep me busy and give me money. So for the past 2.5 years of me just sitting around watching my wife go to work while I sat here doing whatever, kind of drove me nuts. So finally, I decided over the summer, you know what, I'm going to go back to work. I'm going to start working again. And it was kind of a challenge to get an interview even, for some reason, people see this and they assume we can't do the job. In a certain job, maybe not. I mean, as well as I talk, I'm still not going to apply for like telemarketing. That's just dumb. But they see this, and and you can't really be like they're discriminating because you got to prove that. They could have been like, well, we just hired somebody better than you, which I get. So finding an actual job has been a challenge. In the meantime, what I did do is I signed up for DoorDash and Uber Eats. Some of you might remember that when I was bitching about DoorDash never paying me. Uber Eats actually paid out pretty good. Sorry about that. Uber Eats, on the other hand, I made pretty good money, but it does take a wear and tear on your car. And that's one thing I actually suggest for Larry's. If you're able to talk somewhat, because most of it's through texting. If you're good at talking and you're able to be clear heard on a phone, Uber and DoorDash and all these other third-party apps, they're actually really good for somebody like us. You're working at your own pace, you set your own hours, you take the call you want. It works out pretty good. Like the only real issue I had with Uber, and this is with any of those, it does take a wear and tear on your car. So if you have a piece of shit, you might not want to do this because your piece of shit's going to get beat up. You're putting a lot of miles onto it. And around here, we have a winter, so you got salt going on, all that good stuff. And then you can't trust anybody that drives anymore. I don't know what the hell happened. It started before the pandemic, but since the pandemic, it seems like everybody forgot how to drive. I don't know what happened, and I'm real sick of it. If there was a purge, I'd be taking out bad drivers. Let me just say that. Two to the head because you didn't use a turn signal. I'm just saying. Just saying. Now, again, with these apps like, Instacart and all that, it all depends on your area. So if you live in the middle of nowhere, you might not have success with these apps. It's the supply and demand. I mean, if you have a huge population, especially if it's a college area, you're going to get a lot of calls. If you don't, and even then, it's hit and miss, man. I know with DoorDash, they're like everywhere, but the Uber Eats, there's certain cities they're not in yet, apparently, which is fucking retarded. But that's the way it is right now. But with these apps, like they're really good for working if you're disabled in general, but especially if you're laryngectomy, you ain't got to do too much talking. When I show up to give an order, if they can't understand me, I just show them the phone, be like, "This is what I'm looking for," and most people are pretty chill. In fact, I have gotten extra tips because people see my condition. They've asked about it, and I told them about it. We've had conversations helping spread awareness. The next thing I know, I get a $10 tip from them. So it kind of helps out. With Uber, they have a little profile, and it's like, why do you Uber? And I imagine a lot of people have like, make money and, all their little funny things. And I literally just put on mine to help pay for supplies of cancer. And that was it. And at the time when I first joined Uber, I kind of had to because insurance was messing with me again. And, that whole thing. So, yeah, I mean, literally, like my town is a college town. We have two colleges, Cornell University and Ithaca College. So it stays pretty busy when the college kids are there. Like I would work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights. I would only go out about 4 or 5 hours, and I'd bring home about $300. You know what I mean? And again, I was being picky on what orders I take. I wouldn't take anything, that was under like $10 at one point. So that way, you're making money when you're going out. You're not just doing like $3 orders here and there. Don't do that. That's for somebody that has a bicycle. Don't do that when you got a car. That doesn't even pay for the gas. You know what I mean? Like, not worth it. So if it was like $10, maybe $8, I would definitely take it. I would jump on it if it was like 20, 25, depending on where it is. If it's Chipotle, don't do that. Those guys never have the order ready, if they even have the order. I don't know why people eat at Chipotle to begin with. The place is overrated and disgusting. And then their customer service is just trash. So, but to each his own, right? But I did end up scoring an actual job. Here in Ithaca, we have a place called Shortstop that is like a staple in Ithaca. It's the best subs you're going to get in town. It's been there since 1978. They're on their second owner. And Chuck, the new owner, doesn't really do it. It hasn't really changed anything. It's all the same stuff. Even though if you ask all these locals around here, like everything changed. It's like, no, prices because of inflation and time. But other than that, it's the same stuff. And in case you're wondering what that looks like, it looks like this. So that's what I look like in my pretty little uniform. Now, before I even got the job at shortstop, I applied at a bunch of different places. My wife works at a bank and she was able to she has contacts, you know what I mean? People go in there all the time, business owners and stuff like that. So originally the job I was going to do, this guy that comes in all the time and he needs somebody to drive for him because he had a DUI, he could no longer drive and he owned a baby company. All right. And the job was the details I was told anyway, was that I was going to be driving and set up a teardown. There wasn't any painting involved, scraping or anything like that, which I figured, cool, that works out. And the pay was decent. Well, that was bullshit. Guy had me jump right into working, which is fine. I tried. And I was noticing when I get up on a ladder, I'd get really dizzy, like really dizzy. And I'm not afraid of heights. I cliff jumped when I was younger all over the place here in Ithaca. You know, I worked on bridges. I'm not afraid of heights. So it wasn't that. It was really weird. I even contacted my doctor to ask him about it, and they've never heard anything like it. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what it was, but the guy fired me right there on the spot when I was like, oh, I can't climb the ladder. So whatever, obviously not the job for me. He could have gone about it a different way. He could have told the truth about what the job description was. He also could have been like at the job and not just leave all the time. The guy's kind of a douche. I should have known better when, DUI. So after that experience, I started getting really picky about where, who I'm going to say yes to and all that other stuff. So I applied a bunch of different places. And like I said, as soon as they see this or hear about this, I'd never hear anything back from them. Chuck, on the other hand, the guy who owned shortstop, went in the bank. My wife was talking to him about me. And he said, I'd give him a job. 2 weeks later, I'm like, well, fuck it. Let's do it. So here I am. The job starts, it's an easy job, it's a good job. People are cool. Some of the customers suck, but that's every place you go. The job's pretty self-explanatory. And originally, when I applied there, part-time, and I was going to be the guy that does the prep. Well, 2020, man, I don't. A new generation of people, I don't get it. Nobody wants to work. I don't get it. Everybody wants the money, but they don't want to do anything to get the money. It makes no sense to me. Everybody wants to be an influencer. I think that's what it is. They think they can make money somewhere else, and then the rest of them are just fucking off doing whatever. So everything was going the way it was supposed to. And then the girl quit. So he's low on staff. So I have to go over and make sandwiches. And that's where I've been, which again, fine, easy job. Making sandwiches, simple. I've had way harder jobs, way harder. And way busier too. Like, I mean, it's got a good rush to it, but it's not like not like anything you can't handle. Not like you're going to sit there and cry in a cooler. I've had those days. And the only problem I was having was at the end of the day, my throat would hurt, my stomach. Like, it's not a real loud place, but it's loud enough that I've got to yell to talk to the person right next to me. Me and my coworker would literally be like right next to each other and me talking to them. It's the only way they're going to hear me. And then if I got to shout an order out or talk to a customer, I got to yell even more. So all day of that made it so my stomach hurt, vibration of that tip constantly. And maybe that it's an older tip. I am almost on a year on this. I'm not really sure. But I don't want to take any chances. I want to still be able to talk to my wife. I want to still be able to talk to friends. And I want to be able to do this for you guys. So I cut my hours down. Right now I'm like 2 to 3 days a week. And in the meantime, I'll do the Uber on the side, So, I mean, the stomach part, other than that, it was easy. And then I was kind of worried at first because I jumped right back into it. And I haven't been working in like 3 years pretty much. So I was kind of worried about fatigue, and that never happened. I sweat, but I've sweat before, what I mean? I'm a sweaty guy. What can I say? I'm fat, deal. So, I mean, but it's not as bad as it was when I was working like the chicken place that I was working at when I got to cancer. You know, I'd be sweating balls all day. It was bad. Like I'd have to wear my hat backwards because it'd be dripping and bad time. Extra salt on your chicken. But it's not that bad here, you know. I was kind of worried about that. I was like, man, being on your feet all day, you know, blah, blah, blah. But it's been good. I'm not that out of shape, apparently, which is a plus side for me because, you know, I'm usually really out of shape. Now, for some people, I can see where going back to work could be, you know, a little disturbing. Like if you have a problem going to public as it is, you're probably gonna have a problem going back to work, especially if it's a job like mine where you're seeing the public all the time. Like I get stares constantly, man. It's funny, man. Like, and not just at work. Like if I'm walking around a grocery store or whatever, I constantly got stares. Now, mind you, I'm usually talking to my wife. So instead of like putting my hand down, I'll set it like this, which pretty much is me going, hey, look at this. And then wondering why everybody's looking at me. Like, what the hell are you looking at? Oh, yeah, I'm pointing at it. I'm showing you what it is. So if you have problems with that kind of stuff, you might have a problem going back to work, especially if it's in a, you know, the public setting. You know, if it's a private sector type, you know, office job, you might not have some issue. And of course, if it's a job where you involves a lot of talking, you're probably gonna have an issue. Like I definitely wouldn't be like customer service rep over the phone. Like that's definitely not happening. Like I could probably do it, but I'm not going to. And even then, I don't know if I could do that because, like, on a phone, it's weird. On this, I come up clear. In person, I come up clear. On the phone, people are like, "What?" So, I don't know. They gotta figure it out. Verizon, AT&T, whatever. And like the only thing I was really worried about with going back to work is insurance. You know what I mean? Like, can't be without insurance, especially right now. I'm not past my 5 year mark, so I'm still going to my doctors every 6 months. You know, and that's the only thing I'm really worried about. As far as like SSI, you don't make enough on SSI to like that program's junk, man. You can't survive on that, especially if you live somewhere like if you lived in like New York City, you'd be screwed. There's no way. There's no way. It's not going to pay for your rent. It's not going to pay for your electric, you know. And so I'm not worried about that, you know. And get rid of the SSI. It was nice while I was there when I needed it, kind of nice, but it's really not worth a damn. Like if you could survive, like I get five something a month, man. If you can survive off that, more power to you, man. But not here. Even with my wife working and everything, it was still a struggle to get anything, you know. So we're still living the paycheck to paycheck, you know. And in that case, it was month to month, and it's just not worth it to me, man. I'd rather work, even if it was like McDonald's or whatever. I will clean toilets for a living before I sit around and collect that crap anymore. It's just not worth it. I don't get how they expect people to survive off that kind of stuff. Like, I really don't, man. And the people that are doing it, more power to you, man. I got nothing but respect for you because I can't do it. So yeah, the insurance is the only thing I'm worried about. And even then, I'm not really too worried about it because I'm broke, so I get state insurance, man. I got to make over what is it, $22,000 a year, and I ain't making that a shortstop. You know, I would like to, but I ain't gonna do. And here's another thing, man. If you're going into a restaurant, and I've noticed this with Uber when I was going into restaurants and stuff like that too. If you're going somewhere to get food, don't be a dickhead. All right. They're understaffed. A lot of them are underpaid and they're overwhelmed. So don't be a dick. You know, if they don't have something that you wanted, don't be a dickhead. Distribution's kind of fucked up right now, too, in case you didn't notice. So just relax, calm down. There's other choices. And if they don't have what you wanted, go fucking somewhere else. But to be a dickhead is just no. Like I'm liable to whip somebody's ass for being a dickhead over some mean god. Like that's just don't be a dick. And that goes for any business that you're going into, whether it be a bank, the fucking Walmart or whatever. Don't be a dick, man. Calm down. We all just went through 3 years of some bullshit, man. Calm down. Relax. I know it's the election season and all, but relax. Another funny thing though that happened was so after I left my last workplace, which was a chicken, I'm not even gonna name their name because they're not worth it. But it was a chicken place here in Ithaca. My wife would work there too. So I left because of cancer. She ended up finding a better job at the bank. I mean, the guy that was the manager there, he'd been the manager of that place for something like 12, 13 years, ended up telling them to go screw themselves and started working for Cornell. Well, apparently he's back at working there now because like the other managers quit and it's a whole mess. And he asked me if I wanted my job back. And a small part of me was like, maybe, maybe, because it was a fun job. It was an easy job. All I did was cook chicken and listen to music all day and yell at people. It was great. It was fun. But one, I don't know about the flour, in the air. Like, I don't want to chance that too much, because there's a lot of flour in the air from the breading, especially because when you go to prep the chicken first, you got, there's a whole process with that. And then you bread it, bread it, fry it. So there's a lot of particles in the air, and I just didn't want to deal with that really. I don't know. That and the company totally shit on me when I had cancer. I didn't hear a fucking thank you or nothing. I worked about 6 months dying in that place. And all I got from the owners is when you're coming back. So yeah. I ain't gonna lie, a small part of me was like, that's actually a good idea. I could do both jobs and blah blah blah. No, don't do that. I ain't doing it. I am not doing it. And not only that, I'd also have to yell out, how much chicken to drop if I got somebody working with me and what order I'm doing when I sauce it. Even though the guy was like, oh, I don't need you talking, I just need you cooking. I don't know if it's that good or he's just that desperate or both. Either way, it's flattering. What I really wouldn't mind doing is making this full-time job. That'd be great. Be an online influencer of some kind. I don't see that happening either. Let's be real. There's only so many of us interested in this kind of topic, and the general public is not it. If I was up here making a thirst trap video, maybe. But trust me, you don't want me up here shaking it at all. My wife's the real hero. She lets me flop around on her. So I will say though that working again is great. And it's not about the money. It has nothing to do with the money. It's the fact that I'm out there being a productive member of society. I feel good about myself, and that's what counts. You know what I mean? I'm feeling good about me. The fact that I could still do it. I kind of had something to prove to myself. Like I said, I've had a job since I was 12 of some kind. And when I'm not working, I got my dad, my grandfather, and my uncle in my head going, get a job. So I got a job, Dad. You should proud of me now, Papa. And just because just so you guys all know, they're all dead. That's just, it's my conscience. Some people have an inner monologue. I have my family screaming at me. But it's a good feeling to be working again. And if you really want a job and you're on SSI right now, they actually have a program that you can sign up for through my social. And it'll help you find a job. It's job placement. And in the meantime, you can get your Social Security while you're finding a job until you get full-time employment or whatever, And you're allowed to make a certain amount of money. I think it was like $900. You're allowed to make up to $900 before you get cut off, that kind of thing. I'm not saying try it, but I'm saying if need be. And then the program that I'm talking about, it's kind of like a workforce program. They're trying to find something within your skill set that you could do with your disability and help you to get off of SSI is what it is, because let's be real, people, in like another 50 years, there ain't going to be an SSI the way the government's working right now. There ain't going to be a retirement. So better get those 401ks now, and there's always some kind of job out there that everybody can do. It may not be something you want, but if you want to work, it's there. I'm in that old school mentality where a job's a job, man, whether it be McDonald's or you're working at a, Forbes, a big empire or whatever, Forbes empire. It don't matter. It's a job, man, as long as you're working. And that's what really counts to me is you're working, doing something, being productive, not relying on government and other people and out there bumming on the streets like we see and out there trying to provide for yourself and do it for you. Obviously, sometimes you need help, and that's fine. That's okay. There's no shame in that. It's when you abuse things like that that's when you become a douchebag, in my opinion. If you need DSS to get out of where you're at, like I had to do it. There's no shame in that. Now, if you're just on DSS because you're a fucking low life, yeah, there's a problem with that. So before we continue on, big shout out to Aaron Wayne. Aaron, as you know, wrote the book, The Silent Partner, My First Year as a Laryngectomy. He also makes these really cool stickers that I actually don't have one on right now, which my bad. I usually wear them. That will go on your HME and are decorative. He had a Halloween one this year that was great. It was a skull and a glue in the dark. I wore that to work. Everybody liked it. And update on Aaron. Remember when I said he should write a new book? Well, he did. The Silent Night, the Laryngectomy's Journal. I haven't finished this all. I'm going to be honest with you. You can see where I'm left off there. I haven't finished all of it yet. I'm about halfway through it right now. Kind of got busy and I got ADD. But from what I'm reading so far, man, he killed it again. It's just stories about his experience being a laryngectomy, the things he was going to after the surgery, meeting up with people, going on trips, that kind of stuff. And not to brag, but I'm mentioning the book towards the end for help and support, stuff like that, which I feel good about. It's a good book. So far, it's a great book. Everything Aaron's written has been good. But this one, on the other hand, you have to pay for it. Aaron's selling this one. He's not giving this one away. It's The Silent Night. You can find it on Amazon, or if you contact Aaron, he could probably give you a link to it. But this one you have to buy. And The Silent Partner is free. Okay, this is his first year as a laryngectomy. His second year as a laryngectomy. Both are good reads. Both are easy to read, and it's good information. And Aaron's got a good sense of humor about things, So he's a good guy. So I suggest you contact him anyway. I'll have his like normal. I'll have his email up here, and yeah, maybe it'll be nice to give you some stickers. As I said, though, I updated the computer, gave it more ROM. So all that means, in case you don't know, is that it can run programs better, quicker, more efficient. That's it. It's not memory or anything like that. But with that, hopefully I could do more because I could do it quicker. That makes sense. Like I said, I have ADD, man. So like by the time the 8 hours or 1,000 days it took to render, man, ideas left my head and I gotta write them down. I'm really bad at that. So hopefully I can start doing things like once a week. That'd be perfect right there. If not, then it's gonna be like once a month, every 2 weeks. Like it kind of has been doing. But I apologize for blowing you guys off for like 2 months, man. Like I had plans of doing a Halloween episode, and I don't remember what the hell happened then. Something happened. I got distracted. And then like all this week I was trying to do it, but wind and everything else. Like I said, living in my trailer, it's got a tin roof, so every time the wind blows really good, you hear it everywhere. I've also downloaded a new editing program, so hopefully this looks better. I'm gonna try adding new stuff to it, make it look a little better than just me in my kitchen. Even though it's a sexy look. Um, as far as Twitter goes, with our account on Twitter, I'm thinking about taking that down. Not because I don't like Elon Musk or any of that crap. I don't give a shit about the guy personally. I'm more worried about the security aspect of what's going on with Twitter. Like, if you fire the entire police department and there's nobody to fight crime, things are going to happen. And that's kind of what he did. He kind of just got rid of everybody that was protecting us. So that account's going to go away. But you can still find us on Facebook at Lary World and Lary Talk, the Facebook page. You can also find us on larytalk.com. And if you go to the help and support section of larytalk.com, you can actually find help and support in your area or online. I highly recommend it. You can also find me on TikTok, in case you're wondering. Lary Talk. It started off as it was going to be like, branch off of this, and then somehow it just got into my stupidity and humor. I don't know. So, I mean, there's still stuff on there about being a laryngectomy and little tips and stuff like that. But for the most part, me being an idiot. So if you want to see that, go check it out. I was told by a friend, by Corey Solomon, that apparently an SLP showed somebody my TikTok to somebody else or something like that. Either way, I have fans that are in the medical field, which is funny to me. The same thing goes on with the podcast. I can mention a podcast to like a doctor or a nurse or somebody in the medical field. They're like impressed, and a lot of them are fans. And then, everybody else is like, good job, buddy. It's really funny to me, man. Like I think it's because the medical field knows, you know what I mean? They know what it takes to be able to speak after all this and to be able to handle it as well as I've handled it and be positive about things and to help others and blah, blah, blah. Where everybody else is just like, good job. What do you want, a cookie? And yes, I want a goddamn cookie, chocolate chip. Jesus, I've earned it. So, I mean, let's all share some stories about work, shall we? I'll put a link up on the Lary World so we can all just share our different stories about it. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe on here. That'll help me out more, The more likes and subscriptions you get, the more you're seeing on YouTube, the more I can help put awareness out here, and the more I can bore everybody else. It's mainly just to get the awareness out. Everybody bitches that nobody knows who we are, but nobody really wants to go and take the time to raise some awareness for us. Get yourself out there. Let people see you. Let people ask you questions. Answer them. Don't get mad. People ain't going to learn about us until we show them us. You know what I mean? And apparently, like I've said numerous times, man, it is up to us to spread the awareness. Val Kilmer ain't coming to the rescue. We ain't getting the NFL to recognize anything, so it's up to us. It really is. So the next time you bitch, somebody didn't know about us, remember that. It's up to us to make them aware, make everybody aware. And the only way to do that is to get out there and do things. I really wish there was more people doing what I'm doing, because then you can have a group thing going on. And again, help raise the awareness, educate people. And also, if any of you guys want to be a guest or anything like that, you want to be a part of Lary Talk in some way, just let me know. Contact me. Email me. You can contact me on Facebook. And we'll figure something out, man. Like, if you can speak clearly, I would love to interview another laryngectomy. I mean, that'd be great. Whether you speak with an EO, esophageal speech, or you talk like I do with the tip. Hell, if you talk clear enough using clicks, I'll interview you. I don't care. We'll share. We'll have fun. So seriously, if you're a Lary and you want to get your story out, or even if you're a caretaker and you want to get your Lary story out, feel free to contact me, man. We'll work something out. But either way, I'm going to get out of here. It's going to be a short one. I just wanted to get something up because I haven't been on in so long, and I really apologize for that. My bad. Henry needs to do better. Anyway, so you can find us on TikTok. You can find me on Facebook. You can find it on larytalk.com. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you like and subscribe. Thank you for listening if you're listening to us on the podcast version. And until next time, take care of yourselves. Have a good one.